It's often the things that are hardest to do that will satisfy you the most. This is something I wouldn't trade for the world. It's amazing how a single, consistent action can change a person's entire life. Salah, or prayer, is the second pillar of Islam and has become a pillar in my life. Ramadan was coming and I made a decision in my heart to pray every Salah on time. And inshallah after Ramadan I'd continue to pray every Salah on time. The positive impact Salah has had on my life is something I wouldn't trade for the world. The daily prayer performed 5 times a day is Salah. This is different from a dua. A dua is a supplication, it's a request usually. It's also a prayer, but it's different from a Salah. From Salah. You get it. The English word for prayer doesn't encompass what Salah is. Salah refers to an act of submission and worship to Allah, and it requires a set of specific actions and recitations to make it valid. Oh, and also, Salah is compulsory on all Muslims who have reached puberty or maturity, and there's only a few reasons that you might be exempt from praying Salah. I just want to be clear, I don't want this to be a lecture or reasoning behind the obligations of Salah. I just want to share my personal experience and what Salah has done for me in my life. I took Salah for granted for a very long time, and you know what, sometimes I still do. I guess you need to know a little bit about what my life was like before daily Salah. Before 2020, it's a little hazy what my Salah was like. I know that it was inconsistent and I wasn't fulfilling my obligations. I went years where the only prayer I would go to is the Jummah Salah or Friday prayer. And for those of you who don't know, Friday and the Friday prayer is like a special day and a special prayer. And even then I wasn't consistent. I'd go maybe 4 weeks in a row and then I'd miss 1 or 2 after that. At the end of 2020, I was alone in a new country, and to be honest, I was wilding out and doing stupid things. In the months leading up to Ramadan, I was at a low point in my life. Maybe not the lowest, but it was pretty bad. I know that I was lost and I had no real purpose. And man, not having a purpose is destructive. I was doing things to help me progress in life, but I felt stagnant. I felt unfulfilled. I felt alone, to be honest. I'm not very happy with the Zain of late 2020, early 2021. He was a nice guy, but he was depressed and he was empty. Pretty sunny out here, huh? This one. Fast forward to the end of March 2021. I'm in Toronto, it's cold, I'm miserable, and another lockdown's announced. And I think at this point my heart and soul was just fed up. And then something just clicked. And I felt like if I don't start praying right now, my life will be over. It sounds super dramatic, I know, but it's genuinely how it felt. So I made the decision that I'll start praying from the first Ramadan. Alhamdulillah, I look back and I'm like, thank God I made it to Ramadan, because you never know. Not to sound super grim, but I could have died before Ramadan, in the days leading up. I don't know what I would have said to Allah standing in front of Him on the Day of Judgment if that was the case. Some of the benefits of Salah for me include a sense of purpose, an overwhelming feeling of peace, and I think most importantly, it gives me a moment where I can take a break from the world. There are countless benefits to praying Salah for a Muslim. I don't believe meditating will provide you the same benefits. I mean, you can try, but I'd imagine it's not the same, especially because there's something so profound and freeing when you leave everything behind to just submit and worship Allah. Through Salah, I've become consistent, not only with prayer, but I believe I'm more dependable and responsible now. Alhamdulillah, consistent salah has helped me with waking up in the morning. It's helped me going to the gym, with studying, with keeping relationships with my friends and family, like keeping up with them, and I don't waste as much time anymore. All these things were so difficult before for me, and now I plan my life around salah. I plan trips around salah. I plan classes around salah. I plan work around salah. I have salah on the back of my mind at all times. And it may sound obsessive to you, but I'll put it this way. Imagine that you have exams coming up, or you have a project that's due, or you're doing something that's difficult. And in order to complete this thing, you've allocated break times for yourself. So maybe you'll work for an hour, and then you'll get a 10-minute break, a much deserved break. That's what salah is for me. Salah is that break. And I'll be honest, it's not always like that. Iman, which translates to faith, is something that goes up and down, just like life, just like everything. So there are definitely times where I don't feel like praying. Ironically, those are the times where I need to pray the most. Because just as you hate going to the gym, you still go, because you know you're gonna feel amazing afterwards. It's often the things that are hardest to do that will satisfy you the most. Really understanding the purpose of prayer and the benefits from an Islamic perspective has massively changed my outlook on life. I'm now more optimistic, yet realistic. Minor inconveniences don't bother me anymore. There's this Alhamdulillah mentality, this thank God mentality I've been able to adopt after I started daily praying. It's like this: if something good happens to me, then Alhamdulillah. If something bad happens to me, then it's still Alhamdulillah. There's good even in bad. For example, the other day I was coming back from college and I have to switch trains a couple of times, and I went to make my first switch, and for whatever reason the train wasn't letting people on. I reckon my outlook on life in 2020 would have been a very like, why me mentality. Like I'd be sitting there thinking like, I can't believe another thing has gone wrong. The current Zain found out about the delay. Firstly, was patient, something I've developed more through daily salah. And secondly, I wondered what I was saved from. I wondered what I was protected from. And later on, I found out that there was a safety issue. Had I gotten on an earlier train, or if my train was allowed to go, I might have been stuck in this, unfortunate situation. A situation that could have affected me way worse than just being delayed. There's a really fat squirrel there. Look at it. It's so chunky. And so here we are at the final benefit that I'm going to talk about. I say talk about because there are many benefits to salah. But honestly, that video would be way too long and have to be in way more detail than I can offer. Consciousness. Consciousness. Man, that's a hard word to pronounce. Consciousness refers to way more than just spiritual awareness. Yes, salah has helped me be way more aware of my surroundings. It's helped me consume media more cautiously. I think twice before I want to do something dumb because I know that I'm going to have to stand before Allah soon. Or maybe the dumb thing will affect or negate my salah. I avoid doing bad things because I know I have to face Allah soon at every salah. And if I do something haram, then it'll just be embarrassing. Although saying that, even if I do something haram, it doesn't stop me from standing before Allah in salah. Because another thing salah has taught me is that Allah is Ar-Rahman, He is Ar-Rahim, and so He is the most merciful, and I should never be afraid to turn to Him. Salah has taught me that if everyone in my life was to leave me, every single person, I would be alright, because my Creator is with me, my Sustainer is with me. Salah is a big part of who I am. I am Muslim first, and so salah is part of that, despite my my flag over here. And by no means am I perfect. I am far from perfect. I am nowhere near perfect. But that's not the point of salah. The point is to firstly worship Allah just as we've been ordered to. And secondly, it's contemplating the reasons we've been told to. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't need you to pray to Him. He really doesn't. He doesn't need any of us. Salah was ordered on us for our own sakes, for our own spiritual, mental, physical well-being. I only listed a few reasons regarding the benefits of salah in my life. And like I mentioned earlier, there are tons of reasons for you to pray salah. And so if you made it this far, thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time to hear me out. I imagine some people watching this are eager to start praying, but haven't been able to. my suggestion to those people is to firstly ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make your heart firm upon the religion and Salah. Ameen. And secondly, remember that Shaitan will whisper in your ears. He'll say that there's no point, that you're too far gone, or that you can start praying tomorrow. But tomorrow isn't guaranteed. Allah is the most merciful, and you can pray Salah at any time. You can make dua at any time. Even if you've missed Salah for the last 5, 10, 15, 20, 40 years, any of us could leave this world at any moment. So just as with anything in life you want to improve at, you just gotta start and then stay consistent, inshallah. Jazakallah khair for watching, and may Allah bless you. Thank you so much.